A victim of Pakistan-sponsored terrorism, India at various global platforms has always shown concern about the problems of evaluating counter-terrorism, particularly in South Asia. Recently, in the UN Security Council, India stated that the exclusion of Pakistan-based terror outfits from the UN chief's report on the threat posed by Islamic State does not give a complete overview of the terror threat the world has been facing.
In a flashback, on the night of November 26, 2008, 10 Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Taiba outfit launched coordinated shooting and bombing attacks at various locations in Mumbai city. The deadly attack killed 166 and injured over 300 people. On 14 February 2019, Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists killed at least 40 CRPF personnel in Jammu and Kashmir's Pulwama district. The list of terrorist incidents in India is long, but the reason is only one: Pakistan, a country that continues to sponsor terror outfits that launch deadly attacks against civilians and security personnel in the subcontinent. As a victim nation which has experienced all forms of terrorist attacks, India has time and again warned the world about threats emerging from Pakistan-sponsored terrorism. In a recent briefing at UN Security Council on the threats to international peace and security caused by terrorist acts, India's permanent representative at United Nations asserted that the UN chief's report on the Islamic State should also cover activities of Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed that perpetrate attacks from safe havens in Pakistan.
In our view, the UNSG's report on ISIL should also cover activities of prescribed terrorist entities under ISIL and Al-Qaeda sanctions regime, like Lashkar-e-Taiba and other Pakistani-based terrorist groups like Jaish-e-Mohammed and frontal organizations that raise funds for their activities. The world is fully aware that these groups also perpetrate terror activities from safe havens in Pakistan, including through violent attacks in Afghanistan that have disrupted the peace process.
Pakistan has mainstreamed terrorism as statecraft, and its land is being used for carrying out subversive activities against all its neighbors. For decades, Afghanistan has been witnessing blasts and Fidayeen attacks, and on many occasions, Pakistan's role behind such terrorist incidents have been revealed. Tirumurthy also highlighted close links of the newly appointed leader of ISIL with the proscribed Haqqani network, which is backed by Pakistani authorities.
The UN Secretary General's report also provides an account of activities of ISIL-K, including the appointment of its new leader, Shahab al-Mujahid. He has close links with the proscribed Haqqani network and earlier operated in the AFPAC region as an Al-Qaeda commander. It is essential that we don't lose sight of the ease with which the proscribed Haqqani network and its supporters, especially with support from the Pakistani authorities, have worked along with prominent terrorist organizations like Al-Qaeda, ISIL-K, etc. in South Asia.
New Delhi also raised voice against Islamabad, which makes distinction between good and bad terrorists. At different platforms, India has tried to provide ideas and action plan to counter terrorism. Once again reiterating India's stand against terror, Tirumurthy told in the briefing that for the UN system to effectively address the threats posed by terrorists, the Council should seriously reconsider implementing the 8-point action plan outlined by External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. The Indian diplomat said that India acknowledged the direct utility of the Global Countering Terrorist Travel Program and the Global Program on Countering the Financing of Terrorism to prevent and detect travel of foreign terrorists and funding of terrorist entities, respectively.
Terrorism remains to be a very, very large issue. We are gaining support from the entire world, may it be US, may it be the European nations, may it be Australia, or may it be Japan, or even Russia. And more so ever, besides getting support from all the countries in the world, we are proving to take very strong steps against terrorism. And that is why at the UNSC, to make our position strong, to ensure that India gets a permanent seat in the UNSC, as we have time and again given our bid for the UNSC seat, it has been proven that India is standing very strong and tall.
India, which has been at the forefront of the years-long efforts to reform the UNSC, began its 2-year tenure at the Council this year. India will boost its collective efforts to fight against terrorism, as it will chair the Counter-Terrorism Committee in 2022, which coincides with the 75th anniversary of India's independence. Chairing this committee at this juncture will help keep the focus on the presence of terrorists and their sponsors threatening the peace in the South Asian region. It has a special resonance for India, which has been in the forefront of fighting terrorism, and chairing this committee is a ringing endorsement of the country's leadership in fight against terrorism.